Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, a flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 Attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. So here we go. This is the 9th Premier League team that we're doing in these series of videos, these tactical tests. I'm McGoobage, it's Andy, and this is Burnley. So tactic number 1, in fact, before I jump the gun, if you've not watched any of these videos before, what we're doing is we're doing a tactical test. We're taking 4 of the most popular tactics on the forums, on the SI community forums and FM Scout, and we're testing them with every single Premier League team just to see how they do. See the varying levels of success and or failure, and just to see how it all plays out. Now, a stipulation which is in the description. All the tactics will be linked in the description below. But as you can see on the description, all the staff take over everything. I'm responsible for nothing. I'm the manager, but the assistant manager will do all the training and the tactical briefings. The chairman and the head of youth development will do all the recruiting and new contracts. I'm not involved at all. I'm just going to go on holiday, set the tactic up, suggest that the players and the formations the same as much as possible, and only sell players who are transfer listed, and then go on holiday for a whole season to see how it plays out. We're doing that with every single one of the 4 tactics today, as I've done in my last 8 videos. The top 6 are all done. I've also done Bournemouth and Brighton, and today is Burnley. Tomorrow will be Cardiff. That'll be my 10th side. But let's get cracking with Burnley. And tactic number 1, if you're familiar, if you're not, it's the Tipler Set Tick Attacker Beowulf tactic by Knap, who's a popular poster on the tactics forum. This is attacking. In possession, you're slightly short of passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box, overlap both sides, play with a slightly lower tempo. You take short kicks in transition with distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press. Out of possession, you defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent. Short goalkeeper distribution. You get stuck in, using tighter marking and the offside trap. One thing I forgot to mention, and it's consistent, is that we're looking to play the best players in the team, obviously in positions. So as you can see at the moment, this is the beginning of this is the 25th of June, where I saved the beginning of the season. So the strongest players will play, and it means, as you can see, many of them are not natural in positions that according to the tactic. But in terms of consistency throughout every single video, I'm looking to play the best players with the highest rated ability as by the game. So on this formation, the 4-2-3-1 wide, Pope's in goal and defend. 2 attacking wing backs, Ward and Loughton. Long and Tarkowski are both ball playing defenders on defend. Jack Cook's deep line playmaker on support. Defoe is box to box midfielder on support. 2 inside forwards, Brady and Goodmanson on support. Hendricks the attacking midfielder on attack. Sam Vokes is the advanced forward on attack up front. Let's see how this plays out. Now, this is interesting. It looks as though we've been sacked. So, job history. Oh dear. So, we were sacked when Burnley were in 20th position. Let's have a look. History managers. So, we were sacked. Wow. After 166 days on the 8th of December. Wow. Okay, so let's have a look at the schedule for Burnley. So 8th of December we left. So, Premier League. Started off with a draw against Wolves. Oh, Europa League. Best place third qualifying round. Oh, right, okay, so first, best place second qualifying round first leg. Away they lost to Lillestrøm. Then beat Lillestrøm in the return game in the second leg of the best place second qualifying round. Then beat Luzern 3-1 at home in the third qualifying round. And then started off the Premier League with a draw 2-2 at Wolves. They drew away. They drew away in the third qualifying round second leg against Luzern to go through. And won their second Premier League game against Brighton. They then, the best placed fourth qualifying round of the Europa League, they drew at home with AZ 2-2. Won the away leg 3-2 to go through to the group stages, which is a good result. In between that, at the end of August, they drew with Southampton in the Premier League. Okay, they drew with Man United in the Premier League. They lost to Chelsea. They lost... Oh no, they beat Fenerbahce away in the first group game of the Europa League. Drew with West Ham. Beat Watford in the EFL Cup third round. So, they played, including the Europa League, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games with only 2 defeats. Which was a good start, especially making a Europa League group as well. Then lost to Arsenal in the Premier League. Beat Anderlecht in the Europa League Group B. Lost to Crystal Palace and Huddersfield in the Premier League. Beat Sturm Graz in the Europa League. Drew with Liverpool in the Premier League. There's some good results here, obviously apart from Chelsea and Arsenal. EFL Cup fourth round, they lost to Everton away 4-2. This is where it begins to fall apart. November, lost to Fulham in the Premier League. Beat Sturm Graz in the Europa League group game. Lost to Cardiff and lost to Watford. Beat Fenerbahce in the Europa League group game. Premier League, they drew with Leicester and lost to Newcastle, and this is where we were sacked. So, Premier League, let's just have a look and recount. So the Premier League, we'd lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Premier League games, and that's why we were sacked. So the formation didn't work. Let's just have a look at the remainder of their season. Obviously they're going to play different. They look at this. They lost to Everton, they drew with City, they lost to Wolves and Bournemouth, drew with Tottenham. There's not many wins here in the Premier League. Look. So it was a disaster of a season. Where did they finish in the Premier League? Relegated. So season tactic number 1 wasn't great. Let's go back to have a look at the players. Average ratings. Heaton, Gibson, Tarkowski, Brady, Goodmanson, all 6.9s. Goals, 21 goals, Sam Vokes, but it was a disaster of a season and they were relegated. That has been... I don't want to see that one. I want a different view. 1 second. Import view, FM Scout. That's the one I want. 21 goals from 40 games with Hendrick 8 from 46 and Brady 8 from 37. They're relegated. That's tactic number 1. So this is tactic number 2. And this is the minimal fastidious positive formation. It's the 4-1-4-1 DM wide. And it's worth noting this is the tactic with the least instruction. So in possession, shorter passing, play out of defence, work the ball into the box, lower tempo and waste time. Transition, standard really with all of them. Roll it out, distribute to fullbacks, counter press. And out of possession, high defensive line, short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. Popes in goal, sweep the keeper on defend. 2 wing-backs on support, Ward and Loughton. 2 centre-backs defend this time, Long and Tarkowski. Dufour comes into the team as a defensive midfielder on defend. Jack Cork, box-to-box midfielder on support. Hendrick, Mazzala attack. 2 inside forwards on support, Brady and Goodmanson. With Vokes up front, deep line forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. So, tactic number 2, we were sacked again. Not good. So, we were sacked when Burnley were in 19th position. Let's have a look. When were we sacked? We were sacked at the end of the season, 13th of May 2019. So we played the majority of the season and Michael Laudrups has taken over. Okay, so let's have a look at the schedule. So, Europa League, best qualifying round. Second qualifying round, first leg, they beat Lillestrøm. Beat them at home to go through to the third qualifying round. Beat CS Petro Club 5-0 and then beat them again away 3-0 to go through to the fourth qualifying round. Started off the Premier League with a 2-1 win against Wolves. Okay, then they beat Brighton. They lost to Luzern at home in the fourth qualifying round but beat them away to go through to the group stage. Drew with Southampton, so 2 wins and a draw in the first 3 Premier League games. Lost to Man United quite heavily, away 3-0, but beat Chelsea Premier League. Beat Sporting 3-0 in the Europa League group. Drew with West Ham. And then beat West Ham in the EFL Cup third round. So by the end of September, or by the 26th of September, they'd lost 1 game in the Premier League. Having played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not too bad. Got beat by Arsenal though, away 4-0. Beat Cluj in the Europa League, drew with Crystal Palace Premier League, beat Huddersfield, beat Dynamo Kiev Europa League, lost to Liverpool and lost to Fulham EFL Cup 4th round. Moving forward to November now, they beat Fulham in the Premier League. They lost to Dynamo Kiev in the group stage, drew with Cardiff, lost to Watford, lost heavily to Sporting 5-1 Europa League group. Leicester, they lost in the Premier League and they drew with Newcastle. They beat Cluj, Europa League. And then a run of games which isn't good. Lost heavily at home to Everton 4-0. Away to Man City 4-0. Drew with Wolves, lost to Bournemouth, lost to Tottenham, all in the Premier League. Lost to Brighton in the Premier League. FA Cup, they won the third round away at Blackburn. Premier League, lost to Southampton and Man United. Drew with Man City in the FA Cup 4th round, lost to Chelsea, drew with West Ham, got thumped in the replay of the 4th round, 6-2 of the FA Cup by Man City. They lost to Arsenal in the Premier League, so it wasn't a successful tactic at all. Drew with Lazio, Europa League first knockout round, but got thumped away and was out, 4-0. Look at this. Drew with Crystal Palace. Lost to Huddersfield, lost to Liverpool, drew with Fulham, lost to Watford, Premier League, lost to Cardiff, and then a run of 6 defeats in a row. Man City, Leicester, Newcastle, Everton, Tottenham and Bournemouth. So the last Premier League victory this tactic produced was back in November. They beat Fulham away 2-1. After that, Premier League, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draws, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 defeats. Wow. That's why we were sacked. Senior squad. Oh, let's have a look. So, average ratings. Oh, Joe Hart actually made 3 appearances. You can't include him. Right, Ward, 6.93. Pope, 6.92. Long, 6.88. And Westwood, 6.88. Goals, 14 goals for Sam Vokes with 54 games and 4 assists. Vidra, 9 from 26 starts. And Jack Cook, 7 from 55. It was a shocking tactic, and they finished relegated 19th with only 5 wins in the season. Tactic number 2 didn't suit Burnley. So, tactic number 3, and it's the Rossler Steadfast 4-1-4-1 version 2 formation. 4-1-4-1 formation, as you can see, it's attacking, even though it looks defensive. In possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work through the box, but most importantly, you play through the middle. In transition, take short kicks, counter and counter press. Out of possession, you defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. Extremely urgent, you prevent a short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. So we've got Pope as a sweeper keeper in goal and defend. 2 complete wing-backs, Ward and Loughton on attack. 2 centre-backs on defend, Tarkowski and Long. Defoe the half-back on defend. 2 wide midfielders, Brady and Goodmanson on attack. 2 box-to-box midfielders on support, Cork and Hendrick. And Vokes is the false 9 on support up front. Let's see if we're going to get sacked 3 times in a row. Yes, we were sacked again. So tactic number 3 couldn't help Burnley. So my history. Okay, so we were sacked with Burnley in 17th, 1 place outside of the relegation zone. Let's see when we were sacked. So we were sacked on the 27th of February. So let's have a look at their schedule. So Europa League qualifiers, second qualifying round, leg 1. They beat Lillestrøm 4-0 and 4-0 to go through to the third qualifying round. Beat Vardar and beat them again 6-0 at home to go through to the fourth qualifying round. Started off the Premier League 1-1 with Wolves. Drew with Brighton 1-1. Beat Sparta Prague 3-0 in the fourth qualifying round. Big win against Southampton 6-3 away in the Premier League. Lost to Sparta 1-0 but went through to the group stage of the Europa League. Now I've just forgotten where we were when I was sacked. Sacked 27th of February, that's fine. So 27th of February we were sacked. So September, lost to Man United in the Premier League but beat Chelsea. Lost to Bayer Leverkusen in the group stage. Beat West Ham. Won the EFL Cup third round on penalties against Blackburn. Lost to Arsenal, Premier League. Beat Krasnodar Europa League group stage and drew with Crystal Palace. Lost to Huddersfield in the Premier League. Beat Trnava in the Europa League group stage away. Lost to Liverpool. Lost to Man United in the EFL Cup fourth round. November now, Premier League. Lost to Fulham. Drew with Trnava. I think that's why I said it. In the group stage. Drew with Cardiff and lost to Watford. Beat Bayer Leverkusen 4-3 in the Europa League group stage. Into December. Drew with Leicester. Lost to Newcastle. Drew with Krasnodar in the Europa League group stage. Got through to the knockout rounds. Drew with Everton Premier League. Lost to Wolves. Drew with Bournemouth and then beat Tottenham in the Premier League. January now. Lost to Brighton. Beat Rochdale in the FA Cup third round. Thumped in the Premier League by Man City 6-1. Beat Southampton. Beat Man United. Drew with Barnsley in the FA Cup fourth round. Then lost to Chelsea Premier League. West Ham, they lost to Premier League. Barnsley, they beat them on penalties. FA Cup fourth round replay. Lost to Arsenal Premier League. RB Leipzig, first knockout round in the Europa League. Lost that. Drew with Brentford FA Cup fifth round. Lost to RB Leipzig to go out of the Europa League at the first knockout round. Lost to Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and then lost to Brentford in the FA Cup 5th round on penalties, and that's when we were sacked. So the remainder of their season: lost to Liverpool, beat Fulham and Huddersfield, drew with Cardiff and Watford, lost to City, beat Leicester, drew with Newcastle, lost to Everton, beat Tottenham and lost to Bournemouth, and they survived 2 points above relegation. Player wise, let's have a look. Average ratings: Loughton 7.26, Cork 7.18, Wood 7.16, Goodmanson 7.11, Ward 6.99. Goals: Vokes 15 from 47 with 2 assists, and Goodmanson with 13 from 42 with 8 assists. So disappointing again. That's 3 tactics running we've been sacked. That's tactic number 3. So this is the final tactic, the FM Scout Catenaccio. It's an attacking tactic. In possession, slightly shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box. Focus play down both sides. It's lower tempo. Transition, distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press. Out of possession, defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent, short goalkeeper distribution. You get stuck in, using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. Pope's the defensive goalkeeper. Ward and Loughton wing backs on attack. 2 ball playing defenders this time, Tarkowski and Long. Deep line playmaker on support, Defoe. Cork box to box support. 2 inside forwards, Brady and Goodmanson on support. Hendricks the attacking midfield on attack, and Vokes advanced forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out and if we can survive a season. So the quadruple is complete. We have been sacked again. So let's have a look. Job history: Burnley. We were sacked when Burnley were 18th position. We were sacked on the 27th of February again. So let's have a look what's happening, the schedule. So Europa League first or second, best place qualifier. They beat Lillestrøm, beat them again to go through. Beat Hibs, and then drew with Hibs to go through to the 4th qualifying round. Best place 4th qualifying round. Beat Wolves, Premier League. Lost to Brighton. FC Basel, is that? I'm not sure. FCSB, they beat Europa League. Both games to go through to the group stage. In between that, they lost to Southampton, Premier League. Lost to Man United, Premier League, and Chelsea. Beat Apoel in the group stage of the Europa League. Lost to West Ham. Beat Lincoln, EFL Cup, 3rd round. Lost to Arsenal, Premier League. So, Premier League, they had 1 victory with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defeats. 7 games, 1 win, 6 defeats, no draws. Move forward to October, a much better month by the looks of it. Beat Rosenborg away, thumped them 5-0 in Europa League. Beat Crystal Palace, Huddersfield at home, and Huddersfield in the Premier League, Beat Ludogorets, Europa League group stage. Got thumped by Liverpool at home in the Premier League. Beat Arsenal, EFL Cup, 4th round. Beat Fulham, Premier League. Beat Ludogorets group stage. Thumped by Cardiff away, 5-0 Premier League. But then thumped Watford at home, 4-1 Premier League. Beat Apoel in the group stage of the Europa League. Beat Leicester, Premier League, and drew with Newcastle, Premier League. Lost to Rosenborg in the group stage of the Europa League, and in a 0-0 draw with Everton in the Premier League. EFL Cup quarter final, lost 9-2 at home to Chelsea. They had Westwood sent off on 73 and Cork on 83, but by that point they were already 7 goals down. Wow. Wolves at home, lost in the Premier League. Beat Bournemouth in the Premier League. Lost to Tottenham. Move forward to January now, not a good month. Lost to Brighton, but beat Brentford FA Cup 4th round. Lost to Man City, Southampton, and drew with Man United in the Premier League. Beat Bristol City, FA Cup 4th round. Then another bad month, which led to the sack in February. Look at this. Lost to Chelsea, Premier League. Lost to West Ham and Arsenal, Premier League. Drew with Legia Warsaw, Europa League. Lost to Fulham, FA Cup 5th round. Went through on away goals? No, went through after extra time against Legia Warsaw. Oh no, hold on a minute. Second leg of the Europa League, first knockout round, they lost on away goals to Legia Warsaw. Lost to Crystal Palace Premier League and then lost to Huddersfield Premier League, and that's when we were sacked. Remainder of the season, lost to Liverpool, beat Fulham and Cardiff, lost to Watford, lost to City, lost to Leicester, drew with Newcastle and Everton and Tottenham and lost to Bournemouth. Burnley finished 18th and relegated. So that's been all 4 tactics, sacked all 4 times. Only one of them was at the end of the season. It's been disappointing. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel. And please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics to see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.